How you doing? We say what now?
Shoot the video.
I got you. I'm doing it. Have a good one. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's another vlog, and I just want to talk about putting yourself first. Man, I had a rough week last week. I live a really private and secluded life. I mean, oftentimes, when I go out, I engage with people and I have a good time, and oftentimes I'm the center of conversations, and I try to, make people feel good when I'm around. But honestly, guys, when I go home, it's my time. It's my time to zen. It's my time to get away from the world. It's my time to detox. It's my time just to be me, completely me. And that was a little disrupted last week. And it's the circumstances that was beyond my control, or was it? And that's something I want to talk about today. Family is great. It's amazing to have loved ones in your life and to do things with those family members, especially those that, may have the short end of the stick or may have some things they need to improve on. However, at some point or another, you got to understand if you're doing what's best for you and your family. Because I'm about to get married here on October 30th, and I'm very much so looking forward to it. And one critical mistake I made in my first marriage that I don't intend to bring to my next is involving outside entities, involving outside people, primarily in-laws and family. But this week, man, I don't want to go too much detail because it's not a shot at the person that I'm talking about. It's more so the circumstance surrounding everything and how I responded to it. I believe that I did not respond in the most effective way. I think it's a such thing as enabling people. At some point or another, you have to find that thin line, find that fine line between, is this what's best for that person, or am I doing something that's going to eventually put this person right back in their same predicament? Because ultimately, people have 100% autonomy to do whatever they want to do with their lives. It's something you can point them in the right direction, but no matter what, they're going to make their own choices. We all know that we are outcomes of all of our choices. So I've noticed vividly in my life the things that I've needed to improve on, the things I need to X out of my life in order to get the proper results that I want. And by virtue of that, I have become a reasonable man. I believe I'm doing very well with myself from a financial standpoint, from an emotional, mental, spiritual. There's a lot of things that are going very well in my life based on me putting good efforts to make those things happen. So when you see people in your family doing those things, I mean, it's hard to not give them those answers. It's hard not to get involved when you know you got the keys, you got the answers, you got the tools that they need to get where they want, get the results they're looking for. But they have to do it. So I took on, a family member this past week, and honestly, it messed up my zen. I don't know if that's a word, that's a true phrase, whatever it is, but it truly brought a lot of stress to me. Not them individually. They didn't do anything to make that hard on me. It was the fact that I had to allow them to come stay with me. And like I said, it's not an issue because everybody can fall in hard times. And at one point, this same individual helped me when I had a hard time. And then you add on top of that is how much I care about this person. The top 10, probably the top 5 people I care about in this world. So I was stressing because you can't force them to do what they need to do to see the success that they want. So it was a highly stressful week for me. I'm gonna be honest, I did not work out all week last week. And I can't front. It was an excuse I was giving myself. I mean, you know it's hard to get to the gym anyway, especially I go, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's hard to go to the gym anyway. So I didn't want to wake them up, early in the morning. So I used that as an easy excuse to not go. Not to mention I had the entire rest of the day to go. I just still chose not to go. I'm a man of routine, so, it was hard for me to get out of there, but I could have. I just chose not to. So it was just a stressful week, to say the least. And I see the effects of it had on my health as well, because I don't know if you guys know or seen a previous video, I had a mini stroke a month or two ago. And it was brought on based on, high blood pressure, a couple of things I was eating around that time. So clearly the stress of that kind of took me along that path. And I had some numbness in my right arm last week. I mean, it really was scary because I'm like, what's going on? The same way I felt the initial mini stroke. I started to analyze what is it about what happened last week that brought this, this pain to me. It was definitely the stress. It was definitely the not having my time to myself to decompose and to relax. So I came front. That really, really put me into some bad habits last week. From eating bad, I spent a lot of money last week, and I don't do that. You guys don't know me, I've been on the Dave Ramsey plan for a little while and seriously focused on being fully out of debt and buying a house. And I messed up. So right now, I don't know if you can tell, I'm at the DXL, about to take this crap back. Spent too much money. Got too much on the line for my future to be allowing one moment or 1 week, to ruin things. So came front, that was a little tough. Mainly because it's my favorite store. How you doing? We say what now?
Shoot the video.
I got you. I'm doing it. Have a good one. Man, look, it's my favorite store, and the fact that I'm working on my new branding, trying to wear better clothes, things of that nature. It's hard for big guys, it's my favorite store, DXL. We do our thing. Me putting myself first, not worried about bailing everybody out of their situation, which, like I said, everyone go through their things. But you got to help those who are trying to help themselves. So at the end of the day, if I don't see that, if you don't see that, we can't do that. And I think it's emphatically important for those who get things together for your lives. You have positioned yourself to be the lender and not the borrower. I think it's vitally important for us to do so and help people get out of their circumstances. But what happens oftentimes is people who don't want to get it. It's people who will need to hit a couple more bumps in the road in order to get that. Until they do get it, what do? You keep giving them handouts, or do you give them hand-ups? That return I just did, I know for some of y'all, some people may look at it like, man, it wasn't that big of a deal. But to me, it is. It's decisions like that that creates generational wealth, and that makes you create a new dynamic within your family. Traditionally, the men in my family are very cheap, but I've finally learned the value of $1 at the age of 30, now 34. And I understand you also get what you pay for. So you do want to buy quality things, but not at the expense of family dynamics. My wedding's coming up, and we have everything primarily paid, but the wedding is just one day. And I don't want to be setting a precedent that I'm putting anything above setting our family up for future success. So that's what's on my mind at all times. To you, maybe a small thing, taking some clothes back. But to me, it's a major thing, and it's consecutive decisions like that that's going to bring eventual wealth for my family.